Welcome to the Brothers Workshop. I'm Dave, and today we're bringing you guys a video about how to reuse and resize a vintage door for use in replacing a hollow core builder spec door. Now this is going to be a several part series. This is the first video. This video will be focusing about how to take a vintage door, pull it apart, resize it, and put it back together for use in the replacement of the hollow core door. We're bringing this to you guys because we couldn't find any other information out there about how exactly this is done. I know that not everybody likes these hollow core doors. They don't really bring any character to a space. So taking a vintage door that you can get at an architectural salvage company is a lot better than going out to, say, Home Depot or something like that and buying a brand new door. Most likely you'll be running across doors at one of those salvage stores that need to be stripped of any paint prior to resizing. So just keep that in mind. With that, stay tuned. Now the first and most obvious thing you're going to need to start this project is a door to resize. We received our door from a friend of ours who had a project he was demoing in Pittsburgh's Lawrenceville neighborhood. Instead of just tossing these into the dump, he asked us if we could take them on and possibly use them in one of our projects. Now this door had an original layer of finish and stain on it, as well as a subsequent 3 or 4 layers of paint. It took us several days utilizing paint stripper and a lot of scraping to remove all of that existing material. The first step of the process, once you've already got the door finished and ready to go, is to identify where the dowels are that actually hold the door together. Now this door is assembled with mortise and tenon joinery and dowels that then lock everything together. So what we needed to do was take our drill with a drill bit that was roughly the same size as the dowel holding everything together and drill that dowel out so that we could knock out any excess wood from the dowel and slowly pull the door apart. Now that we've drilled out all of the dowels and the door is ready to be pulled apart, we took some quick measurements of the overall size of the door, compared it against the width of the door frame we'll be placing this into once it's been resized. So we have some measurements so we can do quick math and realize how much we have to take off of the door to have it sized properly to fit in the opening we want it to. Being sure to measure both the width and the height, because not only was the original door wider than the door opening that we want to place it in, but it was also slightly taller. Our next step is to remove all of the trim elements on the door. This was also another way for the manufacturer of this door to kind of help keep everything together. You'll note that there is no glue or adhesive in any of the assembly processes of this project. The door originally was just held together with the dowels, and these trim elements were nailed in. And this is why we have to use a hammer and a nail pull to get them out. You'll notice that the front of the door has a little more ornamentation than the back side of the door. That's because the side of the door with the ornamentation would most likely have been in the hall, and therefore most guests would notice that. And the back side would most often either be open and against a wall or closed, and only the occupant of the room would have been able to see that. Because this trim was so hard to have the paint removed from, we ended up leaving it, finding a very similar profile at Home Depot and replacing that down the road. And you'll see that in subsequent parts of this video. Once we pulled that trim out, we identified anywhere that there could have been extra nails that we missed while pulling that apart, and we removed them as well. Because we're going back in with another piece of wood to help knock and gently move each of the sides of the door apart. Now we're using another piece of wood because it takes the impact of the hammer and the deformation that is a result of that rather than the side of the door. Because we want to maintain a nice smooth finish down the road, we weren't trying to eliminate any possibility of damaging the wood. As you can see, we had to speed up the process for you because it does take a little while, and the initial stages of actually starting to hammer everything out and loosen up the boards does take a little while. However, once this first side of the door is off, everything starts to loosen up and become a little more free-flowing and pull apart a lot easier. And here you can see how this door was actually assembled. Everything was just slotted in, and you can see the actual mortise and tenon joinery that was keeping the sides of the door held together with the interiors of the door. Now, for those of you that don't know, or those of you that do know and might get a little aggravated by this, what I was referring to as the side is called a stile. All of the vertical elements are known as stiles, and all the horizontal elements are known as rails, while the infill panels are obviously panels. Now that our first panels have been removed, it is very simple to now start to begin to pull off the center stiles, because the bottom rail only had one mortise joint, and so you can kind of just pull that apart fairly easily. Like I said earlier, this whole system begins to just kind of easily pull apart. As you're moving through this process, it becomes wise to start marking down each of the elements and identifying where they came from on the door, so that later down the road, when you've started to resize everything, you're not forgetting where they came from initially. And then as you fit the door back together, everything goes back together as it should. Now, it was at this point that we realized something wasn't right. We had drilled out all of the dowels, yet the joint that was holding our rail and our stile together was not coming apart. Upon further investigation, it became obvious that at some point in this door's 100-year-old history, it had been damaged and repaired. As you can see, there is a notch at the bottom right-hand side of the door, and what we gathered was that there must have been some kind of water damage, and so someone patched it. And by patching it, they nailed everything together, which we couldn't find on earlier observation of the door. After we removed those nails, everything kind of just pulled apart, and it wasn't that hard to get the joint apart. you'll see there that not only did we have nails going from front to back, but we also had some coming in on the side, which gave us a lot of that trouble in trying to take that apart. At this point, we're sizing the table saw just to clean up the edges. We're not really going to resize the door based on these cuts. We just want to clean up, have a nice square edge. And we went ahead and did that for every outside edge, as well as every inside edge of the stiles and the rails, so that once we put it together, we didn't have any damage from the disassembly process that was exposed. Now it's at this point we're going to go ahead with the resizing of the door. Starting with the center rail, we're going to be subtracting the overall door width from the door frame opening that we took measurements of earlier. That gives us a number that we then divide by 2, and the remaining number is what we're going to subtract from either side of this door rail. Now I would give you numbers, but that's kind of arbitrary because every door opening and every door is a different size. So we just want to kind of give you the idea of what equation we used. Once we have that number marked on either side that we need to remove so that the door is the proper size, we begin a process of cutting dados out. And this one being a manual process rather than using an actual dado blade, we're using multiple passes with the table saw. Once we've finished removing the excess wood from either side of that rail, we did the same on the remaining rails. And for the panels, we removed that same number from either side so that the panel would then fit properly in the door when we resized it. Once those steps have been completed, we went ahead and moved on to reshaping the tenon part of our joint. Utilizing our straight edge, we're making a mark at the top of our tenon joint and continuing that line all the way down so that we know how wide our tenon has to be to properly fit the joint on the outer stiles of the door. Once we'd done that, we identified how wide the base of that tenon hat was, and we replicated it at the base of where we're going to be creating our new tenon joint. This base allows for the rail and the stile to sit together in a similar manner that the mortise and tenon acts, but in a much lesser degree. At this point, we grabbed our handsaw and we went ahead and cut everything off. And by cutting these out, we really created a longer tenon, which we'll then trim off after we've got everything fitted together.
Once we'd finished doing that for our center rail, we went ahead and did the exact same thing again on our top and bottom rail, identifying the same width that we recreated for our center rail, as well as redoing those tenon members. Again, the tenon being the element that slides into the mortise on the outer stiles of the rail. Once we'd finished sizing everything up with the table saw and cutting those tenons, we went ahead and reassembled it all. Gently tapping it all together with a hammer and using another block of wood to prevent any damage to the outside of the stiles of the door. As you can see here, there also were wedges used in making sure that the door fit together properly, as well as everything was squared up. We tried to save as many of those wedges as possible. Some of them, however, we couldn't just because of the way they came out or they were stuck. And so we had to recreate those. But for the most part, we were able to keep those and utilize them in getting everything squared up at the end here. As you can see here, it's just a simple manner of tapping it down, making sure everything stays square as they interlock. And that's it. The first phase of our project is done. Everything has been resized and reassembled in a very simple, easy to do manner.
And that's the video. I hope you guys liked it. It is the first, like I said, of a several part series. The subsequent series will be really focusing on how we clean up the edges of the door, get it ready to hang, and then finish the door and eventually hang it. If this is the kind of content you guys like, feel free to hit subscribe. If you like the video, hit the like button and go ahead and leave comments in the comment section. We're down there answering any questions you guys might have, and we like to see if you guys want to see any other kind of content. We'll kind of gear some of our videos around that. And stay tuned for the next video of the series. You'll see that up here, as well as some of our other builds down here. With that, like always, keep building.